Remember that an adverb is a word or set of words that modifies verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Note that adverbs usually modify verbs, telling us how often, when, or where something was done. Have a look at the example over here. We walked really slowly. Note that the adverb slowly modifies the verb walked, and it tells us how we walked. Now, adverbs of time tell us when an action happened, for how long, or how often. Note that adverbs of time are invariable. Have a look at the example below. Sorry, I'll call you in a minute. The adverbial phrase "in a minute" tells us when I'll call. Note that adverbs of time are usually placed at the end of the sentence, as in the example below. I'll do it tomorrow. Note that the adverb of time tomorrow is placed at the end of the sentence. But sometimes these adverbs can be put at the beginning of the sentence, and that's to give a different emphasis. Have a look at the example below. Later, they noticed his absence. Note that the adverb of time later is placed at the beginning of the sentence to give emphasis. And in the adverbial phrases that tell us for how long something has been happening, for is always followed by an expression of duration, while since is always followed by an expression of a point in time. Have a look at the examples below. They'll be away for 20 days. Note that for is followed by an expression of duration, 20 days. And in this sentence, I haven't seen you since June. Since is followed by an expression of a point in time, which is June. Note that adverbs that tell us how often something happens express the frequency of an action. They are usually placed before the main verb, but after auxiliary verbs. Have a look at the examples below. Sarah usually wakes up at 7 a.m. Now, the adverb of time usually is placed before the main verb, which in this case is wakes. But in this sentence, you must always be kind to others. Note that the adverb of time always comes before the auxiliary verb, be. But note that the main verb of the sentence comes after the auxiliary verb. But there is an exception, and that is when the main verb is to be, in which case the adverb goes after the main verb. Have a look at the example below. I am never late. Note that the adverb of time never comes after the auxiliary verb to be, am. And if you need to use more than one adverb of time in a sentence, use them in the following order. 1. How long? 2. How often? 3. When? Have a look at the example below. Peter worked at the mall for 4 days, every week last year. Note that 4 days tells us how long. Every week tells us how often. And last year tells us when. Now let's review the use of adverbs of time and practice a bit. Remember that we use adverbs of time to show when an action happened or for how long it has been happening. Note that we place these adverbs at the end of the sentence. Create a sentence using the words in the brackets. Why, yesterday, you to be absent. Why were you absent yesterday? Note that sometimes adverbs of time can be put at the beginning of the sentence, and that's to give a different emphasis. Create a sentence using the following words in the bracket. James to realize soon that he to make a mistake. Soon, James realized that he made a mistake. Also, remember that in the adverbial phrases that tell us for how long something has been happening, for is always followed by an expression of duration, while since is always followed by an expression of a point in time. Now read the following sentences and fill in the blanks using for or since. I've been waiting for you an hour. I've been waiting for you for an hour. Bill has been trying to find a job. May. Bill has been trying to find a job since May. Now we place adverbs that tell us how often something happens before the main verb, but after auxiliary verbs. Note that if there is a verb to be, then the adverb goes after the main verb. Now create a sentence using the following words in the bracket. We to buy groceries often together. We often buy groceries together. He to be late usually for classes. He is usually late for classes. And if you need to use more than one adverb of time in a sentence, make sure you use them in the following order. 1. How long? 2. How often? 3. When? Now read the following sentences and create a sentence using the following words in the bracket. Lily to study every day for 5 hours a month ago. She had a difficult exam at university. Lily studied for 5 hours every day a month ago. She had a difficult exam at university. Here's a short story using adverbs of time. Listen as I read so you can see how they are used in real-life conversation. After I'm done, make sure you understand all the grammar and read aloud yourself so that you can work on your own fluency and pronunciation. When was the last time you cooked? I cook every day, so that must be today. When was the last time you took a bath? I don't remember really. I rarely take baths. I am more of a shower person. When was the last time you slept in? Oh, it was about a week ago. It was a wonderful Sunday. I woke up late, stayed in bed for a couple of hours, and just enjoyed life. Now, it's time for you to practice on your own. Read the following sentences and fill in the blanks with the adverbs from the box. Daily, for hours, today, every year, later. A. I don't feel like doing my laundry. B. This newspaper arrives. My grandpa reads it while eating breakfast all the time. C. When I was a kid, I would play video games. D. We had a great Christmas tradition. We sent postcards to all the relatives we have. E. I think my parents came home. I'll call you. Now read the following sentences and fill in the gaps with for or since. A. Peter just leaves if he waits for someone more than 5 minutes. B. We've been friends with Sarah ages. C. Emily moved to Peru and we haven't heard from her. D. You look much healthier. I saw you last time. E. She's been depressed months. She must see a doctor. Now, let's check your answers. I don't feel like doing my laundry today. This newspaper arrives daily. My grandpa reads it while eating breakfast all the time. When I was a kid, I would play video games for hours. We have a great Christmas tradition. Every year, we send postcards to all the relatives we have. I think my parents came home. I'll call you later. Peter just leaves if he waits for someone for more than 5 minutes. We've been friends with Sarah for ages. Emily moved to Peru and we haven't heard from her since. You look much healthier since I saw you last time. She's been depressed for months. She must see a doctor. Thank you for watching this tutorial.